Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the ever-improving No Soundbites Allowed podcast. My name is Michael Vasquez. We thank you for joining us in this adventure of describing the politics that go on in our nation on a personal and local level as often as possible, giving you, the audience, more than just 30 seconds to understand what's going on in our nation. We look forward to joining you as we go. Just sit back, enjoy the ride. Please remember, if you like the episodes, like it, share it, let other people know, and if you can, please donate, even if it's $2, even if it's $5, because it all makes a difference. We thank you, and here we go. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. My name is Michael Vasquez, and you're listening to No Soundbites Allowed, where we try to take the politics affecting us all and bring it down to the local level. And today we have a great guest with us, a special guest. It is State Senator Fred Akshar, who's on the phone with me. And he's given us some time to speak about some of the issues that are going on in our area and how it's affecting everyone there. Senator Akshar, are you there?
Michael, I am. Thank you. Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and we're happy to have you on. Did you prefer me to call you by Senator Akshar, Fred? How would you like to be addressed?
Fred works great for me. I prefer it, actually.
Absolutely. Well, always want to give you earned the right to have it either way you want. So
I appreciate that, but I was Fred long before I was senator, and it just works for me. So thank you for that, Michael.
Oh, no problem. Now, people may recall Fred has spoken with us before. Back in March, we were talking about the work. You just got elected last year. You've been very busy and very active, working on a lot of programs, and you told us a bit about that on the New York budget. And let's start off, first of all, how have things been going since last time we talked to you?
You know, they've been going well. I think we had a very good end of session, a lot like we spoke about during the budget process. A lot of things happened in the 11th hour, which I think we can certainly correct and do a better job at that, making sure that we don't do things at the last minute. But I can say with a great deal of enthusiasm that I'm very pleased with the bipartisan effort on dealing with the heroin issue. I think that we put our political differences aside and worked in a bipartisan fashion and put forth some really meaningful reforms that are going to positively impact the people that not only I represent in this district, but people throughout the great state of New York. So that is, I'm very pleased of our advancements this year on that particular issue. As you well know, we've spoken time and time again about what an important issue this is and what a priority it was for me. So I am very pleased leading my first legislative session with true, meaningful reforms that deal with this issue.
I know a lot of people have been very concerned about it. I know we've been talking about it since, what was it, a year ago that we first started speaking about that, I think. And I know you've been very active on that forefront. I know that, matter of fact, you were going to be coming to the I'm Dope Without Dope event in Walnut Park in Binghamton. We had to reschedule that from last Sunday to this Sunday, but I know you had interest in that as well, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Michael, I think, it speaks volumes of the community's involvement down the issue. I have said often that this is a community issue that requires a community response. And events like that are happening in Walnut Park or these heroin awareness nights that are happening throughout not only our community, not only the 52nd Senate District, but throughout the state speak volumes of the fact that the community at large is willing to have the discussions, is willing to help reduce stigma, and has a willingness to have conversations about the issue. Because, look, at the end of the day, it's going to take all of us to come out of this. We're going to need each other to come out of this, in our favor. So, I'm pleased with the fact that so many people in the community are willing to step up and do their part in helping solve the problem.
Well, I think the first part is always making sure we know what the issue is and talking about it and getting that public, and also bringing public the alternatives. And I know you've been very active on that. There is no question. I think everyone agrees on that everywhere.
Yeah, and you know what, Michael? Number one priority is reducing stigma. I mean, we have to do that. If I've said it once, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. We all have to do our part to reduce the stigma surrounding the issue, and that's how we're going to be successful. That's why we had the Shed the Med event out in Tioga County. That was very successful, and that's just one more way for the community to respond to the issue and the community to do its part, right? Not only did we offer an opportunity for people to get rid of their prescription medications without questions asked, we took the time to train people in Narcan use. So, I liken it a lot to an AED, right? We see AEDs in a lot of public facilities,
right?
And we hope that we never have to use one. But if we do, it's there, and we can save a life. And I liken Narcan, to the usage of an AED. I hope everyone who gets trained in Narcan never has to use it. But if they've been trained and they have a kit and they can save somebody's life, we're a better community for it.
Definitely. And I have to admit, I wasn't able to follow what happened in Tioga. I'm glad to hear that it was a success, because I know that was a very big deal. A lot of people were interested in that. And actually, you've been very busy all over the district. You have definitely not wasted time to get out and talk to people. And I know that's it's one of the reasons why you're so hard to get in touch with sometimes, but that's because you're actually doing your job, which we don't see a lot out there. And I know that.
Look, I will apologize for being hard to get a hold of, but it's not because I'm sitting on my desk with my feet up. It's because, to the point that you made, we're spending a great deal of time in the community, on the ground. And I've said often that the only way that we are going to be successful as a community is if I remain accessible. I pledged to be accessible during my campaign last year, and I'm making good on that campaign promise.
Actually, you've done a great job.
The only way that we are all successful is if I'm on the ground in the community and listening to the concerns of people. We'll be out in Deposit tonight, spending some time with the folks out there, and we have an extremely busy weekend all over the district. And again, it's one very simple word: accessibility. And I pledge that, and I'm keeping up on my end of the bargain.
That you actually are. You have been doing great. As a matter of fact, you have an event coming up, the Spiedies with the Senator. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an opportunity for all of us to get together as a community. We picked a central location. I wanted something very simple and just something where families could come. Parents could bring their kids, and we could all just have a good time together, relax a little bit, share conversations, and share our summer together. And I think it's going to be a nice event. I'm really looking forward to it. And my hope is that if I'm still serving the community in this capacity, that we do it every year and continues to grow, and it just becomes a staple of everybody's summer where we can get together and enjoy each other's company.
Absolutely. That's going to be on Wednesday, right?
It's Thursday the 21st.
Oh, Thursday.
At the Shenango Valley State Park.
Okay, Thursday at the Shenango Valley State Park. Okay, and what time's that starting at? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's 5:30 to 7. It's free admission to the park after 5 o'clock. And, the event will go from 5:30 to 7, but of course you can come a little bit early. And if anybody has an interest in going, just email finance@fredakshar.com, and we can get you more information about the event.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, so you've been very active with the community. This is one of the events that you're going to have where the community can speak with you directly. What are some of the things people are telling you? Besides addressing the heroin issue, I know that there was a lot of concerns about Second Amendment and the budget. What have people been talking to you about?
We continue to have a lot of conversations, Michael, about the overall business climate in this state. I hear a lot of talk and anger, quite frankly, about Startup New York and some of the economic development policies that are going on in terms of, big sums of money going to a select few companies. And look, this is what my plan is. We are forming a business advisory council. It's being attended by, the council is made up of about 14 people, the Chamber of Commerce in all of the counties that I represent, business people from all different disciplines. And look, at the end of the day, we have to do something to change the business climate. We talk about taxes being too high.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We talk about it being very difficult to do business in this state. Unless we get to the root cause of a lot of these problems and we change the overall business climate in the state, we're going to continue to lose people. And, I talk to a lot of families, and they say, we want our children to stay here. We want them to be employed here. And the fact of the matter is that the direction we're going is the wrong direction, and we have to do something substantial and significant to change the overall business climate to attract people here. The policies that we are following or embarking on right now clearly aren't working, and we need to change direction. So a lot like the way I dealt with the heroin issue, I'm a big bottom-up approach type of person. There's no reason for bureaucrats at the 30,000-foot level to make suggestions on how we change things, because bureaucrats at the 30,000-foot level don't have their boots on the ground. They don't understand what's happening at the ground level on the day-to-day operations of businesses. So I'm taking the same approach we did with the heroin issue, a bottom-up approach. We're bringing people to the table that are living the life every single day, that have been gutting it out in our communities for sometimes decades, trying to make payroll, trying to support not only their families, but other people who are working in this community, and I'm going to listen to them. And we're going to collectively have meaningful conversations and figure out a path to prosperity. Michael, I am a firm believer in this. It is not the government's responsibility to create jobs.
Well,
It's the government's responsibility to get out of the way of business owners who know how to do their job, who know how to thrive and prosper. But we need to cut through the red tape. We need to cut through the bureaucracy. We need to make it easier for them to do business. So that is, I think these issues are all intertwined. They're issues that really come back to one central issue or idea that the overall business climate in the state is abysmal. You can't argue with the numbers. So we're taking a bottom-up approach. I have a lot of passion about this issue, just like I did the heroin issue. And I'm going back to Albany if the people send me in January, loaded for bear, to make some changes to help people that are gutting it out in this community.
Well, I know that it was the vice chairman of the Fed, the New York State Fed, said many of the things that you just said, that the business climate in New York is really bad. And he was here just about a week and a half ago. When do you expect that this the business council, is going to start?
All right, so we had our first meeting this week, and it was basically an introductory advisory council meeting, and our plan is to meet in probably the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. We'll convene again, and when we do that, we're going to be sending out a media advisory and welcoming the media to come in and listen to what people have to say and see how the advisory council is set up. We didn't widely publicize it because really, quite frankly, it wasn't about getting media attention. It was really about introducing ourselves to each other, starting those conversations about where we wanted the council to go. And, once we have some of those issues ironed out, I think then it's important, to publicize what we're trying to do. But the first meeting wasn't exactly, in my humble opinion, it wasn't about getting media coverage. It was about ensuring that everybody was comfortable with one another, figuring out the direction that we were going to take, and really just hitting the ground running. So I'm comfortable after the first meeting to let the local media know that we're doing it the next time, and we're going to invite everybody to the table.
Well, I look forward to being there. I look forward to hearing that. It'll be a good event to cover. And, as I keep talking to you, I know there's so many things that you're working on. I also want to bring up something that I know we're both going to be at, actually next week, Saturday on the 23rd as well. And that's going to be in Norwich, which is the second annual Bring Back America Festival. This was organized a while ago. You and I are 2 of the 7 speakers, main speakers at the event. I'm really just grateful that I was invited. I mean, there's Carl Palladino, Rob Astorino, the congressional candidate Claudia Tenney. We got some great people who are going to be speaking there, and a lot of that's going to be about the Second Amendment. Did you figure out what you're going to say in your speech yet?
Yeah, we're still working on that, but, one thing that comes immediately to my mind, Michael, is the importance of a balance of government, a balance in state government, because we see what happens when government becomes lopsided and we allow downstate liberal Democrats to prepare and implement an agenda. Now, look, I'm not blaming only downstate liberal Democrats for the SAFE Act. You and I have had this conversation before. There are Republicans to blame as well. But it's about preserving people's rights, and it's ensuring that there's checks and balances in government, and that one side doesn't have all of the say. Because, issues in Manhattan and Brooklyn are not the same as they are in Binghamton and Western New York and the North Country. So a balance of government is critically important, and I think a lot of my words will be to that issue.
Well, I think it's going to be a great event. From what I'm hearing, there's going to be maybe 300, maybe 500 people coming, and hopefully even more. For people who haven't heard about it, it's going to be on July 23rd. It starts at 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. There's going to be live music there, as well as the speakers, as I mentioned. And it's at the East Park in Norwich, and it's open to the public and to the media. I'm hoping, I don't know if you've heard, if we're going to get statewide news coverage. Do you know anything?
I haven't heard anything specific, but you know what? There's a great slate of people that are prepared to speak about important issues. And, look, when you get 400 or 500 people together, these folks are passionate about what they believe in. And, as you said, it's a great slate of people who are going to speak on the issues, and it deserves the coverage. It certainly does, because, as we all know, the 24-hour news cycle and media cycle, of course, is pushing their own agenda and pushing their own issues. So it's important that our voices be heard as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to No Soundbites Allowed. You've just been listening to part of our interview with State Senator Fred Akshar, and we'll be coming back to that interview in just a moment. But we wanted to speak to you about Saturday, July 23rd, which will be the date for the second annual Bring Back America Festival, which will be taking place in Norwich at the East Park between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. There will be 7 major speakers there, including State Senator Fred Akshar, Rob Astorino, the former gubernatorial candidate, Carl Palladino, another former gubernatorial candidate, congressional candidate, and former Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney, myself, Michael Vasquez, Stephen Aldstadt of Scope, New York, and others. There will also be live music at the event and refreshments. It is expected to be a great event with a lot of people, like-minded individuals who believe in the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and the rights of Americans throughout this nation. It will be a celebration of all of that. We expect it to be a great time for everyone involved, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone there. So again, put it on your calendar. That will be July 23rd in Norwich at the East Park from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And that will be the second annual Bring Back America Festival. We look forward to seeing you there, and we will return now to our interview with State Senator Fred Akshar. Actually, that brings up something else that's it's both national, international, and local all at the same time. And I'm sure you have some strong thoughts about this, considering, for those who don't know, you were the undersheriff for the Broome County. And obviously that's the shooting in Dallas, and obviously the attack we saw in France. And I'm wondering, I'm sure you still have contacts with the Sheriff's Department. I'm sure you still hear from law enforcement in your role as the state senator. And you've heard about the Black Lives Matters here in Broome and Binghamton. What kind of feedback are you getting on that? Is there anything that you see coming up that you're going to be able to work on about that?
It's such an issue. It's a major issue, and listen, this is what I'll say from my own professional experiences. We are lucky in this community that we share good relationships, and we have good relationships with each other between law enforcement and the community. But I've always said this, Michael, that outreach is so critically important. It is very, very important that law enforcement reaches out to the community, whatever segment of the community that may be, and we have conversations with each other. I mean, this really, really comes down to the basic of relationships between people. We have to keep open lines of communication. Because you know what? If we do that when times are good, then when something tragic happens, regardless of what side it starts on or where it ends, we're in a much better position, and we're better served to come together and to unite around one another when these tragic issues happen. So I think if we could, look, I look at things from in terms of this issue,
right,
from the national stage.
Right.
But we live in a remarkable country.
Sure.
We do. But we are divided right now on some major issues. And if we come back together, we could have those conversations. We'd be in a much better place. And look, right now, I think we honor victims by working together, not creating a deeper divide. That becomes very, very problematic. And quite frankly, I think we do a disservice to victims by creating that deep divide.
I agree.
And quite frankly, I think we should all be working together to prevent further victimization. And you know what? Look, locally, it's why body cameras were very important to me when I was in law enforcement. It's why we spearheaded the project. First police agency in this county to roll out that project. And it comes down to the two very basic things, transparency and accountability. And I think that's what people want by and large. I was a strong supporter of their use. And when we were standing that project up, we worked with the union to put forth a good policy that protected everybody. And not only the police officers who were going to wear them, but the public who may be captured by their use. But you know what? At the end of the day, it really goes beyond a piece of equipment, right? It comes down to the very basic of relationships, and community outreach is critically important.
And I think I personally think in Broome County especially, there is a good outreach overall. I don't think there's a problem in our community, and hopefully other communities can say that, or will be able to say the same thing. And I agree with you. We need to have an open discussion. I've publicly come out and said, I think that Black Lives Matters, the way they've gone about things in the last year or so, there's been a lot of hate speech. They need to retract that. And we need to have a conversation without the negative emotion. And passion is fine, but let's have let's not incite people. Let's just talk. And that's my personal point of view on it.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. Look, I will forever bleed blue. I mean, I came up in that environment. I spent 15 years of my life protecting and serving the community. But the men and women who wear the uniform do a remarkable job. I worked with some exceptionally bright, talented, hardworking public servants during my 15-year career. The men and women who don the uniform every day truly care about the community that they serve. Look, Michael, there are bad people in this world.
Of course.
No matter what they do. They're bad garbage men, they're bad cops, they're bad reporters.
True.
They're bad senators. But you know what? 99.5% of the people who don the uniform do it because they care about the community that they serve. They care about protecting people. But the bottom line is that there are still underlying issues that are, creating issues. Quite frankly, creating a divide, not only, maybe in some places in the state, but, throughout this great nation. And we need to do a better job of communicating. It's that simple. And again, I reiterate my earlier position. If we had open lines of communication when times were good, then you know what? It would be no issue to stand in solidarity when something tragic happens.
It's true. And that's part of what you're doing. I see that in the way you're out amongst the entire community constantly. And that helps with that line of communication. Matter of fact, it makes me wonder.
Yeah, Michael, listen, I say this often when I'm meeting with people. It doesn't matter to me what political party you come from. It really doesn't. I happen to be a Republican. But you know what? I'm here to serve everybody in this district. And if a collective group of people in this district have an issue, regardless of political affiliation, and it's something that's going to benefit the people that I represent, I'm willing to have those conversations. And again, I just think it goes back to a very basic tenet, and that's open line of communication. That's how we are all going to be successful as a community. Not only on this particular matter, on economic development matters, on the heroin issue, on wages, whatever it may be, creating jobs. If we're communicating, regardless of political affiliation, we're going to be successful together as one.
I agree with that. Now, I have to ask, because I know that you, as I said, you're constantly busy, you're constantly moving around, and you're in great shape because of it. I tell you, people haven't seen. Last time I saw you was about 2 weeks ago or so. That guy looks in fantastic shape, I tell you. He's running. I can't keep up with him. But I have to ask, how is it going? I know that you're now in the campaign for your re-election. And I know that it's a different process for you. Last year was the first introduction to politics, and you've been very busy since then. How's it going on the campaign trail?
It's going great. I mean, look, I have a lot of energy and passion, and I'll tell you what fuels my energy and passion. It's going out in the field and listening to people, and it's getting feedback from those folks, about what we've been able to accomplish. And honestly, Michael, I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in a very short period of time. I got a lot of, you're a freshman and you're brand new. What do you really expect to accomplish? You know what? I promised to be a loud and energetic voice when I went to Albany if the people would send me, and we did that. We brought the heroin issue to the forefront of everybody's mind, and we left there making true change. And I think as long as you keep that energy and that passion, we're going to be successful. So, it fuels me to do a good job. It fuels me to keep working harder when I meet people in the field. And they come to me, Michael, and they say, I just want you to know, I've been a Democrat my entire life, and you are working extremely hard. You do what you say you're going to do, and we support you. And that is, that weighs very heavily on me because we have such a broad base of support, not only from Republicans, but from independents, from Democrats, from people from all walks of life, too, which, I've said that, time and time again in my life, especially when I was in law enforcement. God, we're such a diverse state. We are a diverse community. My Senate district is diverse. We have an urban core. We have suburbs. We have, a huge agriculture presence.
Sure.
And you know what? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to ensure that all of those people are being represented properly. So the campaign is going well. I am honored and privileged that the people selected me last year to represent them in Albany. I'm going to continue to work hard. I'm going to return to Albany so long as the people want me to do that. And I look forward to, a spirited campaign. We're going to stay extremely busy all summer long into the fall, and we'll leave it to the people.
Well, definitely that's going to be a good outlook. I'm sure I'm hearing positive things all the way around. Are there any other projects, any other ideas that you're working on, either for the campaign or just while you're still, until your re-election, that you're working on right now besides the Economic Council that people can look at or that they're listening to?
You know what? Our focus is on the overall business climate, of course. But every day, look, I'm the New York State Senator. Every day the phones ring off the hook because people have issues. People have things that that they're dealing with in their own lives, and they're looking for help. So we're going to continue to do the job that we were elected to do, to be accessible and to help people fix their problems. And probably one of the most gratifying things that we do in this business is being able to take a phone call from a constituent, being able to see a constituent out on the street that has an issue that's altering their life in a negative way, and we find a way to help them and put their lives back on track. That's very, very gratifying. And again, we live in a diverse state, but we deal with so many different issues on a daily basis in this office. It's just Michael, I have a remarkable staff. Sure. And very, very dedicated to the people that I represent, and that is probably the most gratifying part of the job, being able to help people. And look, we can't fix every problem that's out there, but you know what? We work awful hard to do the best job that we possibly can.
No, I've been hearing very positive things about that, and I know that you're working hard at it because I can tell just by how hard it is to get you on the phone. And I do thank you for the time that you are giving us here. Let me ask you, I don't know how much longer we have that I have you right now. But let me ask you, is there anything else that's that's come up, or something that you wanted to share with anyone who's listening in?
No, look, I think I just want people to know that I am extremely energetic and passionate about what we're doing here. I think we have been extremely accessible, and I want people to know that I'm going to keep working hard each and every day, doing their work on their behalf, and I am deeply honored and humbled that they've selected me to be their representative. Our door is open. If you have an issue, we want you to come here, or we want you to call us and let us help you if we can. So it's just a great honor to be able to represent folks, and deeply humbled by the opportunity.
Okay. By the way, there's people, when they want to find out what's going on, the bills that you've been working on, there is the New York State Senate website that they can go to, and information is on there. And I know I've looked at it myself there. But beyond that, so the next two things that people can look forward to are going to be that you're going to be at the Spiedies with the Senator, which will be on Thursday the 21st in Shenango at 5:30. It starts. And then on Saturday, on the 23rd, you're going to be in Norwich at the East Park, along with me and several others. And that's going to be the second annual Bring Back America Festival. And those are two things that people that are free, open to the public. Everyone can come out and see you there, and get to hear you directly there. So I'm looking forward to both of those events. And I have to ask you, so you've been in what they call one cycle, a full year in the office. And what do you think of it? What do you think of politics?
Yeah, look, it's an extremely busy job. There's some debate about whether you work full-time or you work part-time, right? We've heard this time and again, but look, I'm a believer that if you're doing this job the proper way, and you're properly representing the constituency, that the people who elect you, this is way more than a full-time job. So, look, I'm not shy about this. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of self-importance. There's a lot of red tape in Albany. Things move extremely slow. I'm not happy about that, but that's why you need to go there with a great deal of energy, with a great deal of passion, be very, very focused on the issues that are important to the people back home. You go there, you do what you have to do, and you get back in the district, because quite frankly, the district is what's most important to me. The people that I represent are most important. It's important the things we do in Albany get accomplished, but the most important thing is what's going on back here in the district. I've said often that when I leave Albany, which is very beautiful, it's grand and majestic, there's lots of history, but I always have a bigger smile on my face when I'm coming west back into the district.
That's always a good thing. And I thank you for that. I know you have a busy schedule, and I thank you for the time that you've given us, and looking forward to being at the business council meeting. I'm going to enjoy seeing you there at that. I know we're going to see each other next week, Saturday, and I'm going to try and get out to Shenango to see you at the Spiedies with the Senator. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing you there as well. I don't know how much more I don't have that much more right this second, but I guarantee you we're going to be talking more. By the way,
No, Michael, I always make this offer, but as I pledged to you and many others, we're accessible. Sometimes, as you indicated on the front end of this interview, it's a little bit difficult to get it scheduled, but I think you would admit at the end of the day, we always find time to get it scheduled, even if it takes us 2 or 3 weeks. So I appreciate you giving me the time today to talk about issues that are important to not only me, but the people that I represent, and you do a remarkable job reporting things that are important. So I appreciate your hard work as well for the community.
Well, I thank you for that. No, and I never have a problem when you're doing the job. I'm always here. You're doing the job. That's more important. But
Thank you very much, Michael.
I want to thank you as well. And
God bless. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.